So this book is, I interviewed the producer Todd Rundgren, who's also a musician and artist. I'm skipping a lot of my life here, by the way. This was written about 2 years ago. So I grew up liking some of his records, not liking others. He produced records that I loved, and he produced records that I didn't love. And some of the records that he produced that I loved were XTC's Skylarking, which I think is still one of the greatest British rock records ever. And he produced Patti Smith's Wave, which is the fourth and final album of the Patti Smith group. He produced the New York Dolls' debut album. He produced Meatloaf's Bat Out of Hell, which is a strange thing to also produce with the New York Dolls. But so Todd Rundgren, interesting character. I created this idea that I was going to interview this guy about every record he ever did and follow his career, him telling me about everything he did. And then I went and interviewed all those people. So I got like the New York Dolls, I got Grand Funk Railroad. He did We're an American Band. He produced that record. So it's a really interesting journey through one guy's career. And it was really neat for me because it kind of validated that thing that my original day job had, which was I had to remember all these things. So I'm in real time talking to this guy saying, oh, so that's when you met the New York Dolls, right? And like remembering the names of everybody. And it was kind of neat. I kind of look back and, you know, in my head, I kind of think it was a good way of sort of making sense of all of that being in the wrong job, and then realizing, okay, that's the job for me. I actually don't even know if I need to read you this, but I just want to read you like the first sentence, the first paragraph of the introduction, which kind of explains some of the book. And it's called, this introduction is called Couldn't I Just Tell You? And I'll just read you a page of it, or less. At one point during our interview for this book, Patti Smith's guitarist Lenny Kaye summed up Todd Rundgren's production philosophy better than anyone I'd spoken to over the course of my 1.5 years of research. Todd's aphorism, Lenny told me, sitting in the kitchen of his New York City pied-à-terre in St. Mark's Place, was, if you know what you want, I'll get it for you. And if you don't know what you want, I'll do it for you. That may be easy enough to say, but over Todd Rundgren's 40-plus years as a producer, he has been one of the few musicians with the facility to back that up. A self-taught guitarist, he willed himself into being a serviceable multi-instrumentalist. But as good as he became as a drummer, singer, vocal arranger, keyboard player, and recording studio engineer, producing was really where his, sorry, I skipped a lot there. Producing was his ultimate instrument. Arguably, continuing in the tradition of Les Paul, he would end up influencing people such as Prince. Anyway, and I go through the whole story, but I realized I was telling you that other stuff. So this is for sale here too, and thanks. Thanks for having me. I just don't like to share.